is easy. Comedy is hard.
To wash the literal disappointment out of our mouths from the last boss countdown, let's instead look at the funny side of things. Every now and then, whether intentional or not, the boss fight can take a turn for the hilarious, thanks to either the absurd scenario, circumstances, or just the boss themselves are so quirky and amusing. The build-up and cutscenes help a lot as well by helping paint the picture of what to expect in the fight itself. After all, in a good joke, the hype is what ultimately sells the punchline. So today, we're saluting the boss fights that had our sides aching and our guts busting with laughter. Disclaimer, comedy is subjective, so some of these bosses may only be funny to some rather than others, but just try to have fun with the video anyway. Should I be worried that I had to include that disclaimer?
Nanomachine, son!
Oh, guess we're doing this again. Oh look, the meme lord of Metal Gear has returned in all of his hammy glory. Everyone bow down and hope you don't get punched in the chin. Armstrong was honestly a no-brainer when it came to picking a funny character for this list. Throughout the game, you see glimpses of him as this benefactor behind the scenes, but he's just a politician. What can he do? Well, after destroying his giant Metal Gear, he comes out and this cutscene is legendary. Filibuster with philosophy. And yes, it's pretty funny to see this senator, a supposed model of etiquette and polite handshaking, tossing building debris at you, trying to bear hug you, yelling and snarling. It's honestly a major tone shift from how we saw Armstrong at this point, and you can't help but laugh at the sheer insanity. What does put it down is the biggest parts of the humor are in the cutscene and not the battle itself. The battle itself does have some pretty entertaining imagery, and it's still friggin' great and pretty funny, just not definitely as epically funny as...
Don't f*** with this, Senator! Nanomachine, son! I have a dream!
Eventually, we can put that meme to rest.
The memes.
Not soon enough.
Will you kill the disco?
No one can kill disco.
Okay, so quick history lesson for the young whippersnappers. A long time ago, in a galaxy not so far away, there was a wildly popular style of dance known as disco. One of the defining aspects was how people dressed to dance the disco. Okay, I'm done. Enter Mirror B. I'm not sure how exactly the Pokemon world ended up with disco, but I'm sure glad it did. Oh, I think I might swoon over that afro. Mirror B is what you might get if Undertale's Mettaton joined Team Rocket. And he doesn't even realize how campy he is. And then there's his theme song. Actually, this man gets 2 theme songs. In Coliseum, it's a salsa mix that actually, unironically, has a man rolling his R's like he's a cat, and it's glorious. Watching Mirror B and his Pokemon dancing about as this song plays is really quite amusing. And then we come to his theme song in Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. Oh my golly gumdrops, this theme is perfect. It's a retro techno groove and it is stylish, smooth, and suave. While the first one might be funnier, I think this one fits the character of Mirror B so much better, and that brings in a humor all on its own. It's also catchy and a complete banger. I'm also secretly in love with how Mirror B flicks his wrist and there's a clap when the music starts. Yes, our friend of Mirror B of Team Cypher takes himself 100% seriously. If asked, I'm sure he'd tell you he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Unfortunately, that kinda kills the joke and why he's only number 9 on the list. He doesn't act campy enough for his character design, but he doesn't devolve into taking himself too seriously either. He's a high-ranking member of a powerful crime syndicate, at least in Coliseum, and expects to be treated as such. If only he thought of that before dressing for Boogie Wonderland. Final Fantasy V and seriousness are not two things that generally go together. While the game does have its more emotional moments, it more often than not feels like a parody of the original Final Fantasy game. This is best exemplified by the utter mockery of a boss fight you have with Gogo. Going into the fight, it seems like it's going to be pretty difficult. Gogo counters any action with a ridiculously powerful attack that can easily one-shot you. Did I mention you're on a time limit too? You think you need a super intricate strategy to beat him, but the solution couldn't be more obvious.
Do nothing.
That's right. You need to wait him out. Once you wait long enough, Gogo will praise your ability as a true mimic and then give you the mind job. What truly makes this battle humorous is how utterly ridiculous the solution is. Gogo is practically unwinnable through normal means. To beat him, you have to do the last thing you'd expect. Nothing. It's further added to by the time limit, which is pretty much there to mislead you. I mean, it's a simple joke and a short battle, but hey, I laughed.
That wasn't so high, was it?
Papyrus, aka the most perfect sunshine child, and anyone who disagrees will die on this hill by my hands! Sorry. Anyway, Papyrus is also one of the major bosses of Undertale. He initially wants to capture a human so that he can be popular, but like the little ball of pure delightfulness he is, he warms up to you and wants to be buddies. But he still has his mission, so battle time! Papyrus is ready to strut his stuff, and it's just too precious. This poor boy is trying so hard to be threatening, but he's just a little spaghetti sunshine baby. His attacks barely even hurt you. Even one of his deadliest attacks just turns you blue. That's all it does, and he wears that fact with a smile. And his special attack?
Hey, you stupid dog! Stop munching on that bone! Hey, what are you doing?
I want to laugh, but he just worked so hard on this that I just want to buy him a Happy Meal, dang it. If I didn't make it plainly obvious, the real humor in Papyrus's battle, along with the usual metagame-breaking moments, is just how innocent he is. He's like a little kid who dressed up as a supervillain whose evilest deed is to drink out of the milk carton.
I can be mean. Sometimes, when I give sandwiches to the poor, I don't cut up the crust.
You are motorcycle gang material.
He doesn't even try to kill you because he's just that pure, and instead locks you in a shed that takes no effort to escape from. And hey, after you spare him, he spares you, you've got a new buddy who goes out of his way to help you make friends with Undyne like the bro that he is. Again, don't want to preach how you play, but if you can spare only one monster, let it be Papyrus, please. Do you really want to hurt such a funny, wholesome soul?
Alright, I guess this is the night fishes die.
So, what would happen if Superman or All Might became a psychotic assassin? You'd get Destroy Man. No More Heroes is full of crazy and over-the-top assassins, each with personalities and battles that could easily make over half this list. But come on, we gotta go Destroy Man. The man shoots a Kamehameha out of his crotch and has machine gun nipples. You really can't go wrong with that. Look how he's introduced. He comes in as a normal delivery guy and seems mild-mannered. He tries to pretend to be this honorable, nice guy when he just lures you in with this false sense of security. Then he just cracks and becomes this over-the-top doofenshmirtz, shocking you with his fake handshake and blasting you with his crotch Kamehameha. Yes, I'm going to keep calling it that. Don't judge me. Not even Solaris Phase 2 and all its epicness could disguise how silly that crotch laser is. Hey Will, did you do that on purpose? During the battle itself, he will fight you with several attacks, each with the name Destroy in front of it. He has his Destroy Beam, Destroy Spark, Destroy Pound, and Destroy Cannon, which seems to be based on Street Fighter. Partway through the fight, he uses machines to fake fly in the air. And in higher res versions of the game, you can actually see the wire he's using. In No More Heroes 2, he comes back as New Destroy Man, where his two personalities are split between two cyborgs. And the interaction between them and Shinobu is pretty funny, though the battle itself is pretty meh. All in all, Destroy Man is a pretty funny boss with a great introduction that builds up and becomes an even funnier fight. Too bad he died again in No More Heroes 2. It'd be funny to see him in No More Heroes 3. Until then, we salute you, Destroy Man, the hero we don't deserve, need, or even want. Oh, Fawful. Thank you for Fawful. It's really awful how awful Fawful really is. Fawful is a major antagonist in the Mario & Luigi game, something you know pretty well if you follow his minion. And he is just the hammiest of Mario villains. He speaks in the weirdest English imaginable, saying many quotable lines like, "I have fury, the mustard of your doom," and "Beef? I am lacking in beef." Fawful is beefless. And many more that I can't really fit into just one countdown segment. You fight him twice in Superstar Saga, once as a tutorial and the other as the game's penultimate battle, and he's funny through both, more through actions than words. Did you see his leotard? One of the funniest parts of the Fawful boss fight is just watching this arrogant, cocky little prick slowly lose confidence as the Mario Brothers give him the smackdown. In Partners in Time, he ends up as a shopkeeper where he sells badges to Baby Mario and Baby Luigi, which, if you think about it, Baby Mario and Luigi accidentally funded their future selves' destruction. Then in Bowser's Inside Story, he's the star of the show. Being the main villain, all eyes are on him as he turns the Mushroom Kingdom inside out with his masterful schemes, all not making sense while doing so. The battles themselves aren't full of a lot of jokes, but just all the build-up, especially over 2.5 games, it makes it too funny. The final battle with Fawful, especially in Bowser's Inside Story, is mostly dramatic, with the exception of Fawful's appearance and sound effects, which still fit his personality. Overall, Fawful has chortles, but we do too by listening to and watching him.
And Logan's probably gonna call me in 3, 2... There it is. Excuse me a second. Logan, I'm not putting him at number 1. No, I'm not paying you royalties!
The huge Drawheads from Kid Icarus Uprising.
Wait! Put down the pitchforks and let me explain.
I know a lot of you were expecting Hades to be somewhere on this list. He's the big bad, he's absolutely hilarious, and his design helps his campy attitude. So why is Hudraw on here but Hades isn't? Well, to put it simply, Hudraw does more with less. Hades has a whole half of the game to build up a rapport with Pit and Palutena. He's a funny guy, naturally, but he gets a lot of time to build himself up. Hudraw only gets a single chapter, and he/they still leave a lasting impression. I'd argue that Hudraw is, pound for pound, funnier than Hades. You start chapter 3 in an air battle as per usual. There you find an old foe, Hudraw. Between games, Hudraw has learned how to fly, and Palutena gets an excellent zinger about how Pit is the only one who can't fly. That will never not be funny. Upon approaching Hudraw, you quickly notice that he has 3 heads, and each head has enough personality for 3 bodies. Almost like you're fighting Deadpool and you can hear all his voices. When you put big egos in a room together, sparks of one kind or another are going to fly. The Hudraw heads bicker like an old married couple. Actually, there's 3 of them, so maybe more like siblings?
Quick, get the sword out. I want to cut his head off. Oh, cut your own head off. Yes, do us all a favor. What's yapping on all the time?
And as you fight Hudraw, the heads fall off. And depending on which order you lop off the heads, you get different dialogue. Thanks to this mechanic, you can play this chapter 9 times and still get different results every time. Now that's replayability. Honestly, I could spend quite a long time going over each of the Hudraw heads' personalities and jokes, but really, I think it's something you should experience for yourself. After all,
if you have to explain a joke, there is no joke!
A lot may say that the raving rabbits are just annoying little fuzzballs of noise. And to be honest,
I completely get why!
That being said, they blend surprisingly well with the Mario cast and made one of the most surprisingly well-received crossover games on the Switch. From the chaotic graphics to the innovative gameplay, and of course, the Phantom. The Phantom of the Boapera is a deadly combination of one of the evil rabbits, a boo balloon, and a phonograph wrapped up in a floating ball of operatic ego. He's basically immune to everything until you can snuff out his spotlights, making him the pinnacle of arrogance. But the funniest part about him isn't his ridiculous appearance or being able to knock his ego down a few pegs. No, the most hilarious thing about the Phantom is...
Who's done me 1,000 wrongs ever since Donkey Kong? Slithering down every pipe, despite his plum-shaped body type.
Yes, you're seeing this right. The Phantom takes the time to roast Mario through song. Ubisoft took the time to write a whole musical number of them digging into Nintendo's biggest mascot. And Nintendo was completely on board with it. He doesn't stop even once, taking jabs at Mario's catchphrase and weight, doing everything he can to knock this corporate symbol down a notch on a high C. And he's actually a pretty good singer. However, the only real complaint I have is that I feel like the roast could have used a bit more fire. Don't get me wrong, we still get some really good zingers like this one.
It's a midnight ago, the only words you know.
See that? That's actually funny. But the rest of the jokes, kinda weak sauce. They've been given a golden opportunity here and they go for lukewarm jabbing instead of a full-powered roast. Take advantage of the freebie, Ubisoft!
Come on, surely Mario's got plenty you can roast. Even though I can't think of any off the top of my head.
But again, that's just small potatoes. The fact that Nintendo let them take any kind of shots at their own creations is to be admired. After all, one of the key points of comedy is to be able to laugh at yourself. I do it all the time.
Of course, most of the time it's thanks to my so-called writers!
Even before their respective boss fights, Gladys and Wheatley are shown to have really amusing personalities not usually seen in ordinary machines. GLaDOS is a goddess of humor. She's hilariously blunt and cryptic, and her lines are made even funnier through her auto-tuned monotone voice. Wheatley basically sounds like a bumbling British scientist throughout the first half of the game, and when he eventually goes rogue, not much really changes, except now he's more prone to evil tantrums. And it's still funny to watch. Speaking of personalities, that's another factor that brings the comedy to these fights. The cores. These little buggers each have their own distinct personalities, cranked up to 11. A few of them don't even speak, and the ones that do are super quirky. Among them includes one that brought with it many memes. Anyone who's played Portal 2 knows which one.
Space, go to space. Boy. Yeah, okay.
And of course, there's their involvement in the final battles, which are funny in their own ways. GLaDOS's cores were designed to hamper her and keep her somewhat mentally sound, so getting rid of them puts her in a mental breakdown, which is way funnier than it sounds. Meanwhile, attaching a bunch of annoying, corrupted cores to Wheatley puts a damper on his whole scheme, kind of like an evil genius's blithering sidekicks botching everything up. All this leads up to the humorously satisfying conclusion of seeing these dominant masterminds reach their moments right before their demise. Oh, and the biggest punchline of all? You're the only sane one in a world run by homicidal sentient computers, and you could die at any moment.
Can't say that Valve doesn't know how to do black comedy.
Overall, what makes these boss fights so funny is the bosses themselves, their personalities, the zingers, and the sweet irony of knocking them off their low-hanging pedestals. What's even better is that these quirks don't go away outside the Portal games. No matter the title, GLaDOS is still beautifully cryptic, and Wheatley is still a boob, for better or worse. Zed from Lollipop Chainsaw, castrated screaming and literally attacking you with profanity. Psychomantis from Metal Gear, freaky fight, but the fourth wall breaking and laughing pictures create some good, uncomfortable laughter. Hades from Kid Icarus Uprising, sophisticated humor, but it's more of a slow burn. Cousin Kyle from South Park The Fractured But Whole. They did a parody of the alternate dimension counterpart trope with this guy of all characters. Opal from Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Too much pink energy is dangerous.
For the most part, Conker's Bad Fur Day is pure, unashamed vulgarity wrapped in the zany British N64 package. I myself am not super crazy about the vulgar humor, but I definitely see the appeal of the game. However, there's one particular level that's filled to the brim with sheer irreverent audacity. And I think we all know which one I mean.
I am the Great Mighty Poo, and I'm going to throw my shit at...
Yep, it's this guy, the Great Mighty Poo, a literal singing pile of crap. I don't want to say the game developers were on anything when designing this boss, but someone must have been to let it leave the cutting room floor. Do I even need to explain this one? It's an enormous blob of feces that throws balls of itself at you while belting out a berating, catchy opera. And the only way to beat him is to throw oversized toilet paper at him while he's singing and then flush him down the giant drain.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, okay!
I don't need to say why this boss fight is so funny. It's unapologetically crass, bizarre, and the song is hilariously catchy. And above all else, I like the initial concept of a boss singing about how utterly screwed you are. We got a small taste of it with the Phantom and Mario Rabbids, and we're getting it at full force here. I really wish we'd see more fights like that, just without the literal crappiness. Good thing this game didn't come with smell-o-vision. That's still a thing, right?
I'm the Fiery Joker, and... Well, that was a mindfuck.
Idea!
Hey everyone, this is Josh. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and share the video around. Please check out my other social media like my Twitter, Twitch, and Tumblr. Consider checking below the video and donating to my Patreon, Streamlabs for my merchandise, or becoming a YouTube member, and you'll get rewards like this. Our name shoutouts come from Rainbow Hooves Productions, Ryan Anderson, Sonic Cody, and Misty Phantom. Thanks for watching.